Hello and welcome again to the KTR. This is Keith. Today we will be taking a look at a new computer case that I bought for myself for my personal rig. This is NZXT S340 Elite Black and Red Edition. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. So starting with the top I/O on the computer, we have the power button on the far right that is surrounded by the red LED power light indicator. To the left of that, we have two USB 2.0s and then two USB 3.0s, then an HDMI pass-through that plugs directly in through to your GPU, To the left of that, we have the 3.5mm audio jack, then the microphone jack, then the hard drive activity indicator light. Also on the top of the computer is a 120mm supplied by Nzxt fan. Now this is more than enough cooling for me, so I just left it as is. You can also mount a 140mm fan, or if you want, you can mount a 120 or 140mm radiator. Moving along to the front of the case, you've probably seen in a few of the pictures already, the Nzxt Puck. This is a square rubberized puck that is magnetized on the back that can stick anywhere on the case except for the tempered glass side panel. It is made for holding up headsets, headphones, or specifically VR headsets, which is why the HDMI pass-through exists on the top of the case. And it's overall just great as also if you want to use it as cable management. Looking at the front panel itself, it is super easy to remove. You just grip the top and bottom and pull towards you. Hidden underneath the front panel is a large magnetic dust filter. It's magnetized at the top and it just slides in at the bottom. This is still allowing for high airflow into the case while providing protection against dust. Taking a look behind the dust filter, you will see the mounting points for two 120mm or two 140mm fans. This is also an excellent choice and a place to mount your radiator for your computer for your CPU. Looking at the back of the case, you see the slot where the PSU goes in, as well as tons of expansion slots, as well as the rear motherboard I/O, along with the mounting point for a single 120mm fan. If you have been paying attention to details on this case, you'll see that it is just clearly overdone with thumb screws. Now, here's a note from the factory, you will have to use a screwdriver to undo these. Also on the back or the bottom of the case, depending on your perspective, there is a dust filter that is removable and easily cleanable for the power supply itself. On the right side panel, all you have to do is remove the two thumb screws at the top and bottom, and the panel should easily slide off. Underneath that, you can see several cable tie-down points, as well as the cables for the top I/O. Hidden under those cables on the left-hand side of your screen, you will see the hard drive bay. It can hold two 3.5-inch drives, and underneath the hard drive bay, you can see another 3.5-inch hard drive mounting point, or another 2.5-inch SSD mounting point. On the right side of the screen, you can also see where your power supply will be slotted in, as well as the inside of the cable management shroud that makes this case look absolutely amazing. Moving along to the side of the case that you will be seeing most often, this is a tempered glass side panel. It is easily removed by the 4 thumb screws that are supplied, and it is held in place very firmly, but in between the thumb screws and the case itself, there are little strips of rubber rings to prevent it from vibrating. Inside of the case, past the tempered glass, you can see the mounting points for 3 2.5-inch drives, or for something like an NZXT Hue Plus. You can also observe the venting holes for your hard drives that are stored under the cable management shroud. There are also 5 holes that are easily used to supply cables through for cable management and to really clean up the look of the build. Now, with that being said, there's also the cable management bar that extends down from top to bottom of the computer case itself that again supplies more cable management. Speaking of the cable management bar itself, here is a closer look at the back side of it, where it is easily to route cables through, such as the 24-pin power connector or the USB 3 connector. I did have to remove one of these clips because, ironically, it was exactly where the USB 3.0 connector was located on my motherboard, but that was super easy to remove with just one screw. If I had a gripe about the case, it would honestly be the cable management, specifically the plastic clips. They're plastic and they're cheap. I wish they were made out of a thick metal, but they do the job, and unless you put severe pressure on them, they will hold. So can't really complain too much about that. But overall, the case is very well made. The durability so far has held up very well for me, and it still looks very professional even with older parts. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.